me get going here.
You did?
So we got quite a few people online, not so many people in person here, but glad you're all either here or online, so this is great. So here's what we're gonna do. So you guys that are online, let me pull up, show this, share screen. All right, so you guys that are online, if you can, I need you to go to, hopefully you can see this on the screen, which you guys don't need to do it unless you want to, but go to Buzz In. Actually, no, you guys probably should. This will be good.
Phone or laptop?
I think you can do either one, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
So go to buzzin.live, and then you're going to click join, and you're going to enter this game code. I'll turn off the lights so you guys can see it a little bit. And then I want you to enter this game code. Then you'll put in your name. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you guys in teams. So the people that are here live in person are going to be on a team. And then the rest of you guys that are online, I will put you into a team on the Buzz-In game. So the only thing that's bad about this is that oops, hang on one sec here. The only thing that's bad about this for you guys that are online watching is that sometimes what will happen is that your phone is going to get disconnected from the thing. So downside, but anyway, we'll see what happens. All right, so let's see. I got to go through and even out the teams here a little bit.
Morning. Mine pulled up as this. Is yours different than that?
Hey. All right. Hey, we got 5 people in person now, so this is great. Is it working?
That's what you're saying? Okay, cool, thanks.
Okay.
Morning.
Hi, how are you? Good, how are you?
So good, thanks.
All right, we got a few more people joining in here, so this is good. I'm excited. All right, so I put you guys into teams that are all online. I got people that are buzzing in on me, so. Okay, so here's how this is gonna work. Is what we're gonna do is, and hopefully everyone is getting logged in here still, sorry. Let me pass this to you guys to start. All right. Oh, I'm gonna get rid of this though. Okay, so hopefully everyone that is, I think I got everybody put on a team. So we're gonna have 3 different teams available here.
Sorry, I keep buzzing.
You're good. No, you're good. We've got 3 different teams that are available. So I'm gonna have you guys that are here in the room are gonna be a team. You guys that are online, I put you guys into teams. So there's 3 different teams. So let me get a marker here.
So we're
She knows all the
just
answers.
this right here. She already knows I do not know any of the answers. She's been in a class with me. Not class, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I keep waking my screen up and buzzing.
You're good. That's fine.
Mine just buzzed too.
That's okay. It's fine if you do. Serious. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. So you guys are in the teams. We're gonna play Jeopardy and see how much you guys know. Now, here, let me give you kind of the background of why we're doing it this way and how this all came about. Is as part of the 12-hour new agent course, what has to happen is that there are certain things we have to cover. And some of the stuff that the division wants us to cover is not too exciting of stuff. And because of that, I had this thought of we should put together a game of Jeopardy to make it a little bit more exciting. So we're going to be talking about some maybe not so exciting stuff, but because we put it into the game and what I've learned is realtors are a little bit competitive. So we'll see what happens here. But what we're going to do then is we're just going to play Jeopardy in order to make this a little bit more exciting. Okay, I got to put a couple more people on teams here.
This is cool.
Oh, except for, I just realized, hang on. I gotta fix this. I gotta create another team here. And I just realized that I have you guys in the wrong teams that are here.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Oh my gosh, I worked for her at Lancome to like, do you know Elena? She's Ukrainian.
All right, sorry guys, I'm just getting everything set up here. So let's see, Kyle, you're on 3. Are you logged in, Courtney? If you're not, it's fine.
Yes, I am.
You are?
I'm short for it.
Oh.
If you need the nickname.
Oh, there it is. Okay, got it.
So then I know.
All right, are you logged in, David, or are you still working on it?
Almost.
Okay, Marissa,
Yes.
you're in. I got you. Heidi, got you. All right,
Should be in.
Isn't she cute?
and there's David. Okay, we got our team set up here.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready to go. So here's what we're gonna do. So let me pull this up here, get the game board pulled up here so you guys can see it. All right, here's what we're gonna do. So these are the categories that we're gonna be working on. Now, here's how we're gonna do it is, well, I'll let you guys, well, no, I'm just gonna give you the rules. I was gonna ask you for your opinion, but never mind. I'm gonna tell you. You do not have to answer in the form of a question. So it's okay if you don't say what, like Jeopardy, you don't have to say the what is or who is or whatever. But if you answer wrong, your team will lose points. Now, so here, not intentionally. I was not intentionally looking at you. So here's what we're gonna do. Oh, actually, so you guys that are online, make sure you put in the chat box your first and last name, license number, and your office you're from. Okay, so how we're gonna do this, at least to begin with, you guys all have the code to buzz in. So when you buzz in, to begin with at least, I will give to we're gonna let whoever buzzes in first, that team gets to answer. In the event, which sometimes this happens, that I start to notice that some people just hurry and buzz in, before I've even finished the question, then we'll all start saying maybe it's the third person on this question or the second person to buzz in or whatever. All right. So we ready to roll?
Yes.
All right. Since you guys were the first, since you guys are in person, they get to choose first. So what category you want to go with? And you guys that are online, you can't see this probably, but I've got the teams written down here, so we'll keep track of your points that way.
I am not starting, but nice try. You've done this for 4 years, you get to start.
Agency, I guess.
Okay, agency for what?
I'm gonna skip
Word.
Agency for 200?
I should have worn my glasses.
Is that what we're doing?
Sure.
Okay,
Let me just come up here.
are we ready? Let me make sure I've cleared everyone's.
She's turning over her
I gotta
chair.
make sure I've cleared everyone's buzzer. Heidi, you're disconnected, and Brittany, you're disconnected.
I am?
Yeah, that's what it says.
I can scoot over too.
All right, you got teammates to help you out. All right, and let me clear all buzzers. All right, here we go. So the first one question is, proper time to disclose who you represent. Okay, so first team that buzzes in gets to answer. Now, the bad news for you guys that are online is, I don't know how you're gonna talk about it amongst yourself, but
Chat box.
yeah, I guess the chat box. All right,
So can we talk
so
amongst
team
ourselves?
one, well, you can, team one's already buzzed in though. All right, team one, so you guys are gonna have to unmute to answer, because I'm not pulling up the chat box. So,
Yeah.
proper, yeah, you guys are team three.
I can answer it.
In person is team three. All right, so Kelly or Philip, you guys were the only ones that have buzzed in.
Okay, guys.
First relevant encounter, like
Hang
first
on, let me turn
significant
this-
encounter.
I gotta turn the sound up a little bit. Say it one more time.
The first significant encounter with a person.
Okay, good. I will take that. We can pull it up here. The answer is actually prior to executing, but hang on, so let me get your points. Prior to executing a binding agreement. But the reason I would accept what Kelly said there is because as soon as practical is the intent of the rule. So think of it this way. Remember, what we're talking about is there are two sides to this that we've talked about a little bit throughout this week or last week about how we've got our code of ethics from the Board of Realtors, but then we've got all of the division codes and everything from the Division of Real Estate. So today, what we're talking about is not code of ethics things. We're talking about basically the law side of things. The way that the law says is you need to disclose who you represent. Now, let me make sure you guys understand this. And because remember, again, there are two pieces to this. There's code of ethics and then there's the division side of things. The code of ethics side is probably what you guys are thinking about right now. When I say proper time to disclose who you represent, you're probably thinking of our code of ethics, which is when do you need to ask if they're working with another agent, is probably what you're thinking right now. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's probably what I've found is typically that's what people are thinking. But that's not what this is asking. This is really asking the proper time to disclose who you represent. So when would be a scenario that you would need to disclose to somebody who you represent?
When you go to an open house, you take clients to an open house.
Okay, good, Kelly. Yeah, so if you're at an open house and somebody walks in, so then that's what we're really talking about here. Somebody walks into an open house, when is the proper time for you to disclose who you represent? Well, notice that the way the law is written is prior to executing a binding agreement. So technically, that would say, I don't need to disclose, I represent the seller. If you're at an open house, I'm representing the seller because you're not now executing a binding agreement. But if you look at the way the division just further clarified it by saying, as soon as practical is the intent of that rule. So that doesn't mean when somebody walks in the door of the open house that you have to be like, Kyle, I represent the seller. Like, you don't have to do that. So when would it make sense then for me to say who I represent? When they ask? Okay, for sure. Good. When else? And let's think about, since we brought up open house, let's think open house. Somebody walks into an open house, you're there holding it for your seller.
If they're asking you for advice on how much to put down.
Okay, good. So ultimately, I would say what Courtney said right on is ultimately, as soon as you can tell they're going to start to tell you something that if they knew how agency really worked, they might not tell you, meaning because remember, and we'll talk about our other fiduciary duties here in a little bit, but remember, you have some fiduciary duties to your seller, and if the buyer now starts telling you this stuff, you're now going to have to go tell the seller. So that's the idea of this, is prior to them telling you or disclosing something to you that is going to put them in a position where maybe it would weaken their bargaining power or whatever, because the general public doesn't really understand how it works, that when they walk in, they would, especially if you're doing your job right, they're going to feel very comfortable with you and want to share with you, oh yeah, we love this house and we would offer this price and blah, 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 or whatever. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So team one, you got the 200 points. Good job. That means you guys get to answer the next one. Now, let me just make sure everybody knows anybody can buzz in after I pull up the thing. It's not just because team one, they don't get the first shot. Make sense? All right. All right, team one, you got 200 points. What do you want to do? So you guys are going to see why I wanted you in person.
I would do agency for 400, but
Okay.
I don't even know who's on my team.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Look, does it show on your phone what teams I've put you guys on?
It shows the team number, but it doesn't show who's on the team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's team 3.
But it does show a team number. Okay.
Show your team colors.
No.
Or is that the
That's a green. Green is you can vote. All right, so here we go. We're gonna go with.
Marshall says she doesn't have a team number.
Go ahead, Philip.
Marshall says she doesn't have a team number.
Oh, all right. Let me get one. All right, I'll put you on team 2 since they haven't been. Okay, all right, so we're gonna go with agency for 400. Thanks, Philip. Yeah, if people type stuff in the chat box, I'm not pulling up the chat box, so I won't see it. All right, here we go. The 400 answer, and remember the category is under agency. Obligates the agent to obey all lawful instructions from the principal. All right, we got Philip buzzed in first. So team 1 again.
What is obedience?
Good job. That is correct. So obedience obligates the agent. So when we have our, the bad news is for you guys online, you can't see what I'm doing. And unfortunately, the score boxes at the top don't actually work. So I can't keep score on the game for you to see it. So you just have to trust me on the points. And if team 3 wins, you guys might know they cheated or something. I don't know. All right. So here's the thing. So let me ask you a question. I want you guys to tell me. I'm going to give you a scenario. You tell me what I should have done in this based upon obedience. Okay. So I had a listing and I got a phone call and the guy says, I would like to go see this listing. Great. I jump in the car. I drive to show him the listing. We get there. We walk through the property. After we get done looking at the property, he says, I really like it. Let me think about it. And I might write an offer. Great. So I jump in the car. I'm driving back to the office. And my office at the time that I was working at was in West Jordan. And I was on 215. I had just gotten off of 215 onto Redwood Road. And I'm heading down south to 7800 south. In the process, I'm almost to 7800 south and my phone rings. And it's the guy that I had just shown the property to. I answered the phone and he says, love it. Want to make an offer. And I said, great. Do you want to come into my office to do it? Or, you know, how do you want to meet up to write this offer? He said, yep, I'll come to your office, but if you'll get all the paperwork ready for it, I'll just come in and then I can sign. Great. He said, I said, what? And I wish I could remember the list price of the property. I don't remember, but so I'll just use percent. And he says to me, great, write it up for 50% of what the list price is, what he tells me to write up the offer for. And I said, yeah, I'm not going to do that. And he said, well, why? And I said, because it's ridiculous. The seller's not even, if they were willing to sell it for half the price, we wouldn't be listed where we're at. So I'm not going to do that. And he said, you have to. I'm in real estate school and you have to write the offer. So I went back and I asked my broker. Now, before I answer that, you guys tell me, based on this fiduciary duty of obedience, do I have to write the offer?
Usually representing the seller, right?
Well, you have a fiduciary duty to the seller as well, to
Okay.
be fair to both parties.
Okay. So, but all we're talking about right now is the obedience. And
Right.
the buyer saying to me, I had to do it because of this fiduciary duty of obedience.
Yes, you have to do it.
Okay. I got one yes. I have a bunch of blank stares in the room. Marissa's like, I'm not answering anything.
I think the answer is yes, and I'll tell you why, because I had the same thing happen where I had my first run-in with a buyer who I will never ever in my life work with again, and they wanted to do the same thing where they wanted to get this low-ball offer, and you know, in today's market, they're gonna laugh at it. And so yes, I think that you have the obedience to them to do it, even if you don't want to, is my
Okay.
answer. But I hope that you tell me that no, you don't have to do it.
All right. Anybody else online? Have an opinion.
I guess I'd say yes, because if you start, based on that scenario, if you start saying, well, it's a ridiculous offer, now you have to define ridiculous. So I would say yes.
Okay. Anyone else?
Did you say the interested buyer told you he was?
No, he said he was in real estate school.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say he was supposed to disclose to you.
Yeah, no, he just is in real estate school.
I would say yes, at least make a mention of it to your seller.
Okay.
You have to bring all offers to the seller.
Okay, so Courtney's saying you have to bring all offers, all what offers? written offers. So it wasn't written at that point. So, but the question is, do I have to write it at 50% for this guy? It's a good thing we're having this class because the answer is no. Now, why? Why is the answer no? Thank you. I was going to say, Courtney started down the road earlier. It's because I did not have any fiduciary duties to this guy. He was not my client. So yeah, how you saying it was implied maybe? And I guess it potentially could be, although I don't know that would really come into play because I don't think I did anything besides open the door for him to imply that I was representing him. But so now going back to our first question, probably would have been a scenario where maybe I should have said to him, you know, hey, I represent the seller, I'm not representing you. And because at that point, I had no representation to him. So for him to say, you have to write the offer because I asked you to, I actually, when I went into my broker, I was like, I don't think I have to do this, right? And my broker said, well, did you sign a buyer broker with him or is he your client? And I said, no. And he said, then you don't have those fiduciary duties. So keep that in mind. So the question, I guess, on yours is, do you have a signed buyer broker with you?
Yes, I do.
Then you do have to do it. So even though you wanted the no answer, you're getting, you would have to. All right, good. So any of these, if you have questions, stop me and we'll talk about it. But team one, what do you want to go with next? Let me pull up the board here.
Let's do state law for 600.
All right, state law for 600. We ready? Oh, let me clear out the board, make sure I've got the buzzers cleared. All right, we're good. All right, here we go. Oh, I messed it up. Hang on. Go back there. Answer is gift given by an agent or a broker to a buyer or a seller. There's a term for this. So what we're looking for is the term for a gift given. Marissa, good job.
No, but you gave more information after the answer was there. So I'm like, it's not about $250, but now I may not know the answer.
Gift given. So what we're looking for is the term for a gift given by an agent or a broker to a buyer or a seller. So you guys, here, I'll give you a 10 seconds to decide.
The referral fee.
Is that your final answer?
Because a gift, it can be
Ah.
not money.
All right, got to give me an answer.
The referral.
I don't know.
I thought it was too, but apparently.
You guys are team three,
That's
right?
the answer for it.
We haven't got the money decision.
Damn it, David. Are we negative?
That is incorrect. So team one had the second answer. So Philip or whoever, somebody from team one.
Inducements?
Oh, good job. In full disclosure, I think Philip's been through the class before. Is that right?
I have.
Okay, good. Hey, that's okay. I like it. Okay, but they were just freaking out. I'm like, I've never even heard of that. So
It was like, what, 3-4 months ago?
I know. Okay, so here, so the answer is gifts and inducements. So let me explain that to you. Because here's the problem: is what you guys were saying was, or what you were thinking is another question that's in here, by the way.
Perfect.
Although it's not for the amount. But gifts and inducements. So since Marissa brought it up, is there a limit to what you can spend on those gifts or inducements? I'm seeing
Yes.
some head shaking, yes.
Yes.
100, please.
Okay, so was that you, Aaron?
Yeah, it was me.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling better. I'm
Good.
going to get tested again today. I think it's gone.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Except for I think it stays in your system for a while, so you might still test positive. But
Well, today is my last day of the state mandated quarantine because they tracked
Oh.
it back to a couple of weeks ago that I got it. So
oh, good.
yeah.
Well,
I
good.
think
Then what are you doing? Get in here.
No, I gotta have that
I'm just
negative
kidding.
test in hand, Russ.
I'm just kidding. These
I
guys
think
were ready
it's
to run.
250 or 350. I can't remember.
Okay, so you're saying how much?
250 or 350. I can't remember.
Okay. Does if we get this one wrong, do we lose points? Since it's a follow-up question? Yeah. No, we won't. On a follow-up question, no points if it's a follow-up question. But okay, say that again.
I said if it's right, we should gain.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Perfect word.
So far, no, you're not. You were wrong still. So here's the answer on this one. There is no limit. On a gift or an inducement, there is no limit. Now, here's why. The reason why there is no limit is, what if I go into somebody and I say, if you list your house with me, I'll do it for 5%. Is that not an inducement? And what if their house is worth 500,000? So what is 1% of 500,000? Try again. Yeah, that's good. 5,000. So there's no limit. I could go. In fact, there used to be somebody who had a thing in the movie theater that if you list your house with me, you could get a lease on a Lexus for a year or something like that. So those are all just inducements. And at closing, you can give gifts to your clients. You could go buy them a TV or whatever. I mean, a couch, you know, whatever you want to do. So in fact, actually, since we're on that, let me actually explain this. My mom, I have helped her sell 2 different properties. Both times I charged her a 6% commission. And so and I did that for a reason. Now, I probably shouldn't share this story, actually, because now they come back to bite me. But what happens though is people will come to me, agents will come to me and say, hey, I'm listing my best friend's house or my mom's house or my sister or something like that. Can I give them a discount? And I always say, you're asking the wrong person, because I charge my mom a 6% commission. Now, the truth is I charge my mom a 6% commission, but because I can give a gift of whatever I want to my client, after the closing, I would go and buy my mom, in fact, one of the times I went and bought her a couch and I bought her some other things. So part of why I say that is I have always charged my mom a 6% commission, so that when you're out on a listing presentation and somebody says to you, hey, could you do it for 5? I can then answer and go, well, I could, except for that I think I would probably get in trouble by my mom if I do that. And then they're like, what? Well, and then I say, because I've sold my mom's house twice, and I've always charged her a 6% commission. So I can't really, in good conscience, give you a better deal than I would give to my mom. See, that's why I always would do that. And same with your family and friends is, hey, give them a nice gift. I'm good with that. But still charge them a full commission so that you have the integrity of going out and saying to people, no, I charged even my mom a 6% commission. So maybe you can charge her a 7. Just kidding. All right. We good on that one? So there's no limit on the gifts or the inducement. There is on the other thing that you were talking about. All right. Team 1 again. I'm going to start cheating for team 2. I'll send you guys private messages. Oh yeah, no, I probably should cheat for you guys. You guys are losing worse. You can pick any category.
Let's do contracts for 800.
All right. Did you say contracts, Philip?
Yeah.
Okay, contracts for 800. Let me clear out the board so that people can buzz in. All right. Contracts for 800. Here we go. Answer is sacrifice and a benefit. So do you need a hint on this? What we're talking about? All right. What we're talking about on this is, remember, we're under the contracts category. So in this category, there are elements of a contract. So you had to learn in real estate school that there are elements to a contract. There are things that have to be in place for a contract to be valid and legal. And that's what this is at. So Kelly, team 1 was the first one to ring in. What?
You want me to try to answer?
Go ahead. What?
So like you said, this is an element of a contract, so there has to be a give and a take
Okay, so what,
in order to be a proper transaction.
what's the correct term for that? Because you're right, that's what sacrifice is about. But if you think about the elements of a contract, there's a term for this.
I defer to Philip.
It's on you, Philip.
Am
I
I
probably
allowed
should-
to answer? Because I do know what it is.
I guess so. Go for
It's
it.
team one.
Consideration.
Good job. That is correct. Consideration. All right. So when any time that you are going to have a contract, what's one of the elements that's going to make it a valid contract is that the term is consideration, but basically what it means is there has to be a sacrifice and a benefit. So in terms of real estate, what's the sacrifice if you're on the buyer's side? Somebody's buzzing in.
They're sacrificing, like getting financing money.
Okay, so the money is the sacrifice for the buyer, and the benefit for them would be the house. So, and on the seller side, the sacrifice is the house for the benefit of the money. Okay. All right. So good. So there's always got to be a sacrifice and a benefit for that. All right. Team one's at 2,000, just to kind of give you guys an update of where we're at. Team one's at 2,000. Team two's at 0. Not a bad strategy because team three's at 600. Nice. So team two not answering, you're in second place.
Hey, what was the game code again? Not what I'm calling it,
It's 754240.
Okay.
754240. All right, team one, what do you want to choose? And if they ring in first again, we're going to start going with whoever buzzes in third.
Philip.
Oh, you want me to pick again? Okay. Let's do federal law for 400.
Philip's just making sure he chooses the one he knows the answers.
I don't know
Smart,
how I
which
do
is
that,
smart.
but okay.
Oh, this was, if you get this one right, this is a daily double. All right, truth in lending. Now this, remember, that we're under the federal laws category. There's a law, or in this case, maybe an act that, of course, you guys at home, they're probably Googling Truth in Lending Act. All right. Did I reset the buzzers? I think I did. Yeah, nobody's buzzed.
Well, we're not Googling because we're watching the presentation on one thing, and then we have our phone busy with a buzzer.
Oh, good point. See, that's why I did that. I need to change this one out. This probably should be 1,000 point category. All right, oh, team two, yes. All right, go ahead, Rebecca.
I'm not sure if I'm answering this correctly, but I'm guessing it protects you against unfair lending practices.
Okay, good. You are exactly right. What is the law or the act that would fall under? A federal law. Any ideas?
Is it the Consumer Credit Protection Act?
Good job. Did you Google it?
I didn't.
Oh, well, good job then. You should get double points, but you don't. All right. Team two's on the board with 400. Good job. So the Federal Consumer Credit Protection Act is.
Well,
so
you did tell them it was a daily double, so she.
Oh, that's true. All right, we'll give them 800 points. Good point. Thank you. Just kidding.
Because he feels sorry for us.
Yeah. All right. Good job. So team two. You guys get to choose next. Oh, actually, let me just say, well, before you choose. So part of that is, well, usually what people will say is the TILA or yeah, but that falls under I lost the term now. I shouldn't have brought it up. No, that's not what I was thinking of. But, it'll come to me. When it does, I'll remind you. All right. Team two. What category?
Let's do state laws for 400.
All right, here we go. State laws for 400. The answer is use of 2 or more contracts, one of which is concealed. So there's a term for this. Kyle got it. All right. They're going to try to get out, well, almost out of the hole.
Okay. I was gonna say that.
No, that's for that person doesn't know.
Oh, we can probably see me.
This is why the person doesn't know who the buyer is.
All right, what's your final answer?
Double contract.
Correct. All right,
Good job.
double contracts. Good job. So
Now we're at zero.
now you're at minus 400. 200.
We're working our way up this.
You'll get there. Hey, you still got the 1,000. Okay, so let me explain this. I'm going to actually tell you guys a scenario that where double contracts, an example of that. There are multiple examples, but I'm going to give you one. But I always hesitate of giving this one because when I give it to you, you're going to be like, that's a really good idea. We should do that. But you can't do it, okay? Even though it sounds like a really good idea. I mean, you could do it, but you got to do it under the right scenario. And the problem is when people do it, they don't do it under the right scenario. So let me give you an example of what was happening. This was back in the late 90s, I think, early 2000s, somewhere around there. What was going on is somebody had this idea, and I don't even know where it came from, but what tends to happen is, well, in fact, let me use like a modern example of how this comes about. I'm not talking double contract, but right now what's going on is people are starting to write offers when they're in a multiple offer and they're saying, we will pay X amount of dollars over the appraised value if it fails to appraise as a way to get their offer accepted, which is a good idea. What happens though then is that kind of spreads throughout the industry. And the problem is some people write it up poorly. And so then it creates an issue of, well, what if it appraises for $30,000 less than the purchase price? Does that mean that the sellers agreed to sell it for $5,000 above the appraised value if it comes in appraising $50,000 less than the list price? Well, the seller's going to say, well, no, that's not what I agreed to, but the buyer's going to say you did. So an example of this, though, on double contract, what happened is that type of a thing. Somebody had this idea, and then it kind of just spread throughout the real estate industry for a while. And then the division really cracked down and saying that's a double contract, you can't do it. So let me give you what was happening. Is let's just, for the ease of numbers, we'll say that I go out and list a property for $80,000. Okay. And Kyle then comes to me and says, hey, I've got a buyer who wants to buy, but they don't want to have to pay mortgage insurance. What we're going to do is we're going to give you an offer on your house for $100,000. Now remember, my list price is 80. So he's going to offer me $100,000. And then what he's saying is we'll go get a loan for $80,000 so that the bank is looking at it and seeing that, hey, there's 20% equity. So now you don't need mortgage insurance. And then what Kyle would ask me to do, or my seller to do, is to do a note that they'll do seller finance for $20,000. All that's legal so far. But the problem is what then Kyle would say is, but what we want to have is just this other agreement. Now this is the part of one of which is concealed. We're going to just have an agreement that after closing, and usually they would put this in writing, but not give it to the lender because the lender would have never gone for it. And say after closing though, then you as the seller, my seller, is going to forgive that note. So now the buyer doesn't really owe the $20,000 now. They only owe the $80,000 to the bank. The bank then has no mortgage insurance. Seems like a pretty good way to go about not having mortgage insurance, right? Well, so what's the problem with that?
What if somebody doesn't forgive the note or something?
Okay, so no question that if they didn't forgive the note, you'd be a problem. But that's why there was something put in writing. So they had to, but it's concealed, meaning the lender doesn't know about it.
It's fraud.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's fraud. So here's the key thing. just think of it this way. When we're talking about double contracts is any time there is some type of an agreement between the buyer and the seller that the lender doesn't know about. If the lender does not know about it, I don't know why I was pointing at you now because you were in the process, right? So I'm always, but if the lender doesn't know about it, it's would be considered a double contract. So another one where what will happen is from time to time is somebody will go and ask for money back on inspections or something to do with the inspections or things or repairs and stuff like that, that then is not disclosed to the buyer, the lender. If the lender doesn't know about it, here's the funny thing. A lot of times it's the loan officer that recommends that you do some of this stuff too, by the way, because they're like, oh, it'll just create problems if we send it into the underwriter. So don't put it in writing. Just know if there is anything that's agreed to between the buyer and the seller and the lender doesn't know about it, would be considered a double contract. Now, the truth is that scenario I gave you guys of going and offering 20% above and then asking the seller to carry a note and forgive it, the property's got to appraise too, which is not going to happen as easily in today's world. Back then though, the way it worked was very rarely did we have issues with an appraisal. Is the appraiser was told this is what it needs to appraise for, and they would go figure out a way to make it appraise. But then when 2008, 2009 hit, all of a sudden they got their hands slapped. And in fact, I actually even still own a property in Mississippi that if an appraiser would have actually truly appraised the property, I wouldn't own it. And I wish I didn't own it. I've owned it since 2007. And I wish I didn't. But the only reason because it should not have appraised, but I'm not from Mississippi. I've never been to Mississippi. I just bought it because the numbers made sense. And I wish I didn't have it. And the truth is, it shouldn't have appraised, but it did because back then they would figure out a way to make it appraise. So anyway, more than you need to know, but that's double contract. All right. You guys won, so you get to choose, right? Heidi's like, we're getting out of here. We're gonna go ahead.
There's no high federal law.
Federal? Okay, federal law for 1,000? We doing federal for 1,000? All right, let me clear the buzzers.
You can be the code because I put 75420.
That's state.
75420.
That's state.
Oh, did I go the wrong one? Okay, just remind me we still need to do, don't let me forget. It gets rid of it. Don't remind me. Yeah. Remind me that we still have to do that one. Okay, did you get it? 754240. You got it? Okay. All right, we ready? Help me remember. Don't let me forget. In fact, I'll just make a note here. For 1,000. Just give me the points. All right. Here we go. Get ready to buzz in. Answer is issues relating to noise, air quality, water, wildlife, etc. Technically, well, you guys are buzzing in, so we're good. That was Kyle. We got to discuss it. But the second person to buzz in was Heidi, so it's here.
So we got to choose.
Yes.
Go for it.
It's what I'm.
All right,
Yeah.
your 10 seconds are up. Give me an answer.
Is it fire or economic obsolescence?
Which one are you going with?
I don't know what you said.
One's right, one's wrong.
It's environmental.
Environmental.
Are you sure?
Environmental what?
It's not
Obsolescence.
Yes.
No, but it's not obsolescence because that's something that. Well, he said one of them was right, so.
Oh, partially.
Partially. Noise,
You're
air quality,
you should let our team.
I should be on your team, please. I know, actually, Philip probably knows the answer better than me.
I think I know it. I might not.
Okay. Final answer. I'm giving you 10 seconds and then you're losing the points, so you better.
Come on, you guys. Say it. You buzz.
You wanted to know something. Okay, here we go. 2 seconds. You gotta give me an answer.
That's what he's gonna say.
Okay, give me, with what?
Environmental obsolescence.
Oh. Incorrect.
What is it?
So I'll just put a 1 in front of you.
Ah. Okay.
All right, let's see. Philip, you were the next one to buzz in. Then we'll go to team 2 if you don't get it.
What is the EPA?
That's correct.
Environmental protection? Yes.
That's
Agency.
I know, I probably should change this when I get in trouble every time because people are like, that's not an act or a law.
I think you're right.
So-
Oh, we were so close.
I know. All right.
Because we said environmental.
Okay.
I almost said the same thing they did, so I'm glad they buzzed in first.
So we're really all on the same page then.
That's right. Okay,
That was painful.
that was painful. Okay, so team 1, Philip, or somebody from team 1, choose a category.
Well, let's do state law for 1,000, so we get that
Okay,
out of the way.
yeah, then I don't have to forget about it. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. All right, we ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
Answer is, all documents reflect the true terms. This one's a tough one. This should be the daily double. This one's hard.
You need to clear the buzzer.
Oh, sorry, I gotta close the buzzer. This one should be a daily double, and I don't think I've ever had anyone in any class get it right. So that ought to get people to buzz in, huh? That ought to get you to buzz in.
What is the
Nobody's buzzed in.
settlement?
I remember what it is. That's why I'm not buzzing in.
Okay, thank you. I know, I probably need to change out these ones to be ones, because seriously, nobody has ever gotten this one right. Here's the hint I'll give you. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with double contracts. You're on the right track. It's not correct, but you're on the right track.
You already have somebody buzzed in?
Nope, no one's buzzing.
Okay, guys. Come on. I don't know, you can even finance.
Yeah, I don't know if you would. I don't know if you would either.
So all of the documents, like your documents at closing or your documents at like the contract to put in.
Yes. Yes,
To purchase,
all the above.
all the above.
Yeah, this one's a tough one. It would be in the Utah Administrative Code, yes.
Perfect.
You'll find it in there.
So this is like all those documents that are in there that all have to be prepared by the state.
Do it, do it.
Oh,
All right, Kyle.
So he said let's do double contract.
What is mutual assent?
No. All right, do you want me to just give it to you? Nobody's gonna get it.
Yes,
I thought
you
somebody-
definitely.
All right, I won't penalize anybody. False devices. So here's, in double contracts, if you were to have one, the other one would be called a false device, basically. So I know, I need to update this. That's correct.
Or just give more meaning to the question.
That I probably do reword the
I feel
question.
like Kyle's answer was very close.
Was it? Well, you know what the good news is? I was very close to giving you the points too. So. All right, back to team 1. Team 1.
You know what? You're good. We've got
Team 1.
Philip,
Category.
Oh, let's do agency continued for 600.
All right. Here we go. Answer is no statement or action can result in fraud or misrepresentation. All right, you got it. I'm not sure if I remember the answer on this one.
You're sure.
I gotta think
No,
for a
that
second.
ain't not honesty. Yeah. I think it's honesty. Nobody's nodding though. Yeah, honesty.
I'm nodding yes. I think you should go for it.
I'm going for it.
Going for it? All right, let's see what happens.
Did we push the
Woohoo!
button?
Good
Yes.
job, Courtney.
You're back to only
You're
minus
not your
600.
charms, see? Yep, you were right.
Good job. Okay, so here's the thing to keep in mind on this is we don't have a fiduciary duty to a customer. So that's why I put that in parentheses, because our fiduciary duties are to our clients. A customer would be just like I was saying, that guy that called me and wanted to go look at the house. He would have been considered a customer, and I still owe him honesty, but I didn't owe him any of the fiduciary duties. So with those people, we still have to be honest. We just don't have the same fiduciary duties. All right, good job. Next,
So that's us.
you guys won. See if you can get out of the hole here.
Well, make sure it's for
Hey,
about
you got the-
8 or something else.
There are very few times people get the honesty one, so good job.
So, let's do agency for 1,000.
All right. Agency for 1,000. Here we go. Let me make sure I click the buzzer. All right, we're good. Answer is, prohibits the agent from disclosing without permission any information given to the agent by the principal that would likely weaken the principal's bargaining position if it were known.
That's just a contract that stuff the contract that you sign with your seller.
All right, we got team 2, Molly.
Like we
So
already-
someone from team 2.
Is it loyalty?
I think that's right. Oh, no, it's not. I screwed up. Dang it, what was I
I
thinking?
had it right.
I did say it.
What is confidentiality?
Team 1 got it. Good job, guys. All right, so that was 1,000.
Oh,
Sorry, team 2.
you're in the hole with us.
But I screwed up. I screwed up and not letting anybody get the answer. Sorry, my bad.
Sorry, guys.
All right. So if your client tells you something, you got to keep it confidential, obviously, right? So I don't know that we need to say more than that, do we?
You did say it before you put
Who did?
Kai.
And he was the second person to buzz in. All right.
Points, I mean, that's fair. That's-
Oh, he's still sorry.
Okay.
Nice. Word. Big zero, baby.
All right. So you guys chose that one, right? So it's back to you to choose, since I messed up on that one.
Oh, okay. Somebody else choose.
Agency 800.
All right. Agency for 800. Here we go. I'll try not to screw it up again. Answer is, obligates the agent to inform the principal of any material fact the agent learns about.
Oh, that's.
Did I clear the buzzers? No. There you go. Now I cleared it and you got it. So. Team 3.
Wouldn't that be loyalty? Obligates it to inform the principal of any material fact about. Yeah, that's.
I think
Oh,
it's,
no.
I think it's
That's disclosure.
because
I like disclosure more.
All right. Final answer.
did we buzz in first?
Yeah.
Oh,
How did-
yeah, I think it's all good, right?
You going with that?
Oh,
No, we're not. Yes. Yes. Good job.
I got it. Good job.
Yes, I love that one too.
I like agency.
Apparently. Good. Yeah. So obviously, anything that you know, your client has to know. And so the only thing I'll really say on this one is I think a lot of times, at least for me, and maybe it's my issue, but it always feels like to me when I sit down with a client, that they think that we're adversaries. And so I usually will use this as a way of saying, look, one of my fiduciary duties is like, if there's anything I know, you have to know. Like, we're on the same side of the table. We're on the same team. I'm there to negotiate for you. So anyway. All right, good job. They're making their run.
We're in second place now.
Sort of.
We're totally in second. Like 2,800 before negative.
Don't make me full disclose. All right. What are we going with next?
You got it.
Come on.
Well, you got it.
Let's stick with it.
She's sticking with agency. All right. Which one? The 600? All right, here we go. Oh, did I clear? No. All right, buzzers are cleared. Answer is, obligates the agent to place the best interest of the principal above all other interests, including the agent's own. All right, Kyle buzzed in again. First one. So Kyle buzzed in, so Courtney can answer.
Yep. I'm just speed.
Hey, so since we just did full disclosure before you guys answer, you guys that are online at home, did I not tell you it would be more fun in person? Because are you guys on Zoom laughing as much as we are?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. All right, so the answer is,
Because then you're more loyal to them and you are to your.
Yeah. It's loyalty.
final answer, all right. Uh-oh. They're making a run.
I know, what's that fanciness?
What's what?
That fanciness.
Oh, it's good. I put a timer on. I told you I was gonna give you 10 seconds. So that was the 10-second timer. All right, what are you choosing next?
Something else.
Kyle's like, I'm out.
I can
Yeah,
watch.
because we definitely don't want to do the 1,000 thing again and then mess up.
Here, I'll start the timer again for you guys.
No. What about, so,
Tell you.
oh, okay, I'm gonna say state laws for 200.
State laws for 200, correct?
Plain and safe.
All right, here we go. Answer is, when advertising, the name of the brokerage must be,
Like a certain size.
all right, you got it, Courtney.
It's at least half font size of your name.
Okay, good. I'm gonna give it to you.
Good job.
So hopefully you guys online heard what she said, but you'll see the answer here. So it has to, first thing, it has to be included. That's the first thing. And I have on here half the size of the licensee's name. That is actually not the law anymore. They changed it recently. So the way that the law now reads on this, it has to be a reasonable size.
Oh.
So the reason I left it as half the size is because my opinion for you guys, if you are going to be doing any advertising, make sure the name of the brokerage is that the font is at least half of the size of your name. Because if not, you run the risk. So just kind of keep in mind, the way the law says it has to be a reasonable size. Well, define reasonable size. Like it makes it kind of vague. So for me, I'm leaving it as gonna still, like I want you guys to understand the law is reasonable. But do it as, if you'll do it as half, you're gonna be fine. Is kind of what I would say, so. All right.
See what I want you to do in class with me?
Okay, next. They're making their 200-point run.
So I'm thinking you guys should just do 200 because you can make up for 1,800.
Okay, which one?
Don't worry, you just have to be the first one. Contracts.
All right,
I
contracts.
got the con out, so thanks for bringing this out.
Contracts, here we go. Oh, wait, let me make sure I clicked the buzzers, which I didn't, so. All right, answer is in writing.
To be a valid contract, close it. Right?
Is a,
All right,
it's
Courtney,
it's
team
a
three.
what contract?
Now, so
It's a-
Valid.
before you
contract.
answer, let me tell you, we're talking about the elements of a contract.
Written.
So yes, but what's the term for that? Is that what you want to go with?
Valid. I buzzed because he told me.
Come on, David.
Don't look at me this time.
Are you going with it? All right, I'll start the 10-second timer here.
Are you
When it
changing
buzzes, you got to give me an answer or you lose 200.
contract in writing to be valid?
He's trying to look
Are
it
you
up.
changing it?
Me?
Uh-huh.
I'm trying. He's looking it up.
You'll get 10
Okay, 10 seconds. What are you going with?
It's in writing, it's valid, it's,
Incorrect.
Enforceable.
All right. Philip, you're next.
The statute of frauds.
That is correct. All right, so keep in mind,
Just take
that the elements of a contract, which we've still got other answers, so I'm not going to go through them all, but one of them is that it has to be in writing. So a verbal is not going to necessarily work. The statute of frauds requires that it has to be in writing. Okay? All right, you give them their 200. They're just hanging out there at 3,200. So just so you guys know so everybody that online knows where we're at. Team 1's got 3,200. Team 2, you're 200 in the hole, and Team 3's got 1,400. So I'll try to start cheating for Team 2. Yeah, who is Team 2? All right. Team 1, choose the next category.
Let's do federal law for 600.
All right, federal laws for 600. Here we go. Answer is eliminate discrimination against those with disabilities.
Oh, that's the act.
It is an act.
That is the.
And Kyle buzzed in. So Team 3, you get an answer first.
Oh, we get an answer first. What? I remember learning it's the, it's not the ADA. It's the ADA. Don't look at me.
I'm just
Yeah,
being
the American Disabilities Act.
ADA. Final answer? Is that your answer?
Yeah.
Will you whisper something?
No.
Yeah, she was whispering something to Siri. That is correct.
Woohoo! Good job, you two.
All right, so the Americans with Disabilities Act. So really, this doesn't apply so much to us as realtors in terms of buying and selling, but in terms of leasing, and since we are, sometimes agents will end up going down that road. Typically, none of the agents at our company end up with that. But this, the Americans with Disabilities Act. So let's say that I wanted to rent a place and I was in a wheelchair and I wanted the landlord to make some adjustments. Do they have to? They don't have to? Tell me how that works. Okay, so Heidi's saying they don't have to.
It would depend, I think it would depend on how many renters they have. If you're just one person, you've got like 2 renters. That's pretty small. You're not like legally obligated to follow all of those rules.
So here's the thing. They actually have to let them do it, but who has to pay for it?
They have.
That's right. So you have to make the adjustments, but the buyer, I guess not buyer in that case, the person that's renting the property has to pay for it, and when they move out,
They have to leave it.
put it back.
Put it back the way it is or leave it.
Yeah, if they wanted it, they could.
Yeah, they can't.
So that's, like I said, doesn't apply so much for us, but just if you ever get involved in leasing properties and things, it is a good thing to keep in mind. All right, good job. Back to you guys. Which one?
Federal laws for 200?
All right, federal laws for 200. Here we go. Answer is, all have the same right in every state to purchase property. Ooh, this is one of two, and I don't know if I remember. I think I do. Shoot. All right. Kelly, team one.
What is protected classes?
You're on the right track.
Mm,
I think I
What is
know.
What is non-discrimination or?
You're on the right track. I'm gonna do the, yeah, I know, here's the hard part, is you guys don't get to discuss it so much. I guess you and Phil can discuss it online and we'll all listen. Of course, that's what they listen to you guys chat. So go ahead, chat amongst yourselves and I'll start the timer.
Philip,
I already know what it is. Do you?
well, I buzzed, you answer.
Help them out.
What is the fair housing?
He hear us.
Fair Housing Act.
Can he hear you? I don't know. If
Yeah,
he
he's
can,
saying
but that is correct.
that. Kelly,
Kelly could,
you're welcome. We can post her.
I don't think he heard you.
I don't think you did.
I'm sure he did.
All right, good job. Yeah, fair housing. Okay, so here's the thing that I'm going to say on this one is just keep in mind that there are testers that will test you to see if you're going to violate any of the fair housing laws. So there are times when people will call you and they may ask a question or they say something along the lines of, hey, well, I want to see a house, but I don't want to see any homes where blah, blah, blah. They'll fill in the blank, whatever. Just know that as long as you are not, well, let me say it differently. A buyer can choose to live wherever they want to live, but you can't direct them, but you also, like, part of what's going to help on that is if you ever feel like someone, I think that I have had a tester call me one time. I only know of, and I don't know that it was or wasn't, but I only have one time that I felt like they were trying to totally trap me on that. Just make sure that, if somebody says something, here's how I usually will say it. Occasionally, and I'll even give you a story on this. So I'll give you the story, then I'll tell you the background. I had a guy that when I worked at a different real estate company, he was in charge of all the relocation for the company. And I live out in Taylorsville, and for some reason, he and I went to lunch and I said, hey, I need to stop at my house to get something or whatever. So I drove out to my house, and when I pulled into the neighborhood, he's like, this is a really nice neighborhood. And I was like, yeah. And he said, I wish I would have known that because he came from Chicago. And he said, when I got here to Salt Lake and I had started asking, where should I live? People told me you have to live on the east side. You don't want to live on the west side. And he said, I had no idea that there were nice houses out on the west side. And I said, yeah, that's the problem, is that there are people who decide, oh, you have to live here or whatever. And so for me, here's how I always handle it. So with a client, if somebody says, well, I don't want to look at houses and since I went to school growing up in Magna, somebody would say, I don't want to look at houses in Magna. Well, here's what I will tell you. There are some really nice houses in Magna. There are some areas that I wouldn't live in too, but I would say the same thing on the east side. There are areas I wouldn't live in on the east side. So I always just say to people, there's good and bad everywhere. It doesn't matter where you live. You're going to have good neighborhoods and bad neighborhoods. So don't limit it based on a city. Drive through and see how you feel about the neighborhood. So that's kind of how I would say you avoid any type of a fair housing thing. So, any questions on fair housing?
So do you still show it to them if they've asked to stay away from this area? Do you just accept them?
I think as long as you have tried to say, like if somebody said, I don't, well, again, like I said, a buyer gets, let's say that Marissa came to me and said, I want to buy a house and I want to be in Harriman, like, that's fine. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, well, you should consider the avenues. Like, I'm not going to go clear to the opposite end of, the valley, but if she said, just don't show me any houses in, I'll live anywhere in Salt Lake Valley, but don't show me any houses in Magna, then that's when I might say, well, so what is it about Magna? Well, I've just heard bad things about it. That's where I might want to just say, you know what, there's actually some really nice neighborhoods out there. They built some really big houses, whatever, like something to just kind of, again.
Or maybe say, well, in your price range, I'll send you some things that are just in your price range. You can look at them if they're in back there or not.
Yeah, see, and ultimately, I think that's kind of the way of thinking about it is in terms of price range, it's going to kind of determine more than anything, based on it. They probably want to buy wherever they can get the most for their money. So anyway. And actually, one last thing I would say on this is the other thing to where you'll potentially run into this, and this is not going to be a test or testing you, but it actually could be a scenario of you've got a listing and an offer comes in and the seller sees the buyer's name and may say, oh, I don't want to sell to somebody with that type of a name, whatever it is. That's where, again, for me, the way I always approach it, and actually, I was worried that my wife's going to watch one of these videos because I'm about to throw her on the bus a little bit. But when we sold our first house and we got an offer in, she was like, well, I want to make sure that it's somebody that's going to take care of the yard. And she said some things that I was kind of like, whoa, like back, hold on. Like, and
you can say those things in your own home.
For me, no. But I said, I just said to my wife, look, it does not matter to me. All I care about is that their money is great. Like outside of that, I don't care who buys my house. Well, because she's like, well, yeah, but I want to make sure that the neighborhood stays nice. And look at a lot of the people that have been moving in are not taking care of their yards. And I was like, I don't care, I'm leaving. So, and in fact, I said to my wife, that's why we're moving is because people aren't taking care of their yards. So, but at the end of the day, that's how you, ultimately, the only thing a seller should discriminate on is the purchase price, nothing else. That's and that's how you got to present it to the seller. It's just like, hey, all you can make your decision on, you can't make a decision to sell it or not sell it based on any of the protected classes, basically. Make sense? All right. Courtney's leaving the room. You guys are in trouble.
I got it. I feel great.
All right, what do we go? Who got that one? I don't even know. Was that team one? Yeah, it was. Philip got it. Philip got it. So what are you guys going with? Team one? Let's see. Who else is on team one that's not answering? We got William, Brittany, Brea. Just throwing you guys under the bus that you're not answering. All right, somebody choose. I can't check the chat box, so I don't know who just threw in a chat. So Philip will have to tell me what they're saying.
When my daughter was going to college, she was taking women's.
Is team one going to choose?
I chose a lot. Somebody else choose.
Let's do
Bria
agency
says she can't
continued for
unmute.
200.
There's Brittany. All right, good job.
Sorry,
All
my
right,
buzzer
which one
doesn't
do-
work.
Which one do you want?
Agency continued 200.
200. All right, here we go. Answer is account for all money or property entrusted to the agent. Remember, we're talking about fiduciary duties. Did I clear? Yep. Somebody can see it. Let's see who it is. You guys can see why we're you can see why we're doing this now because those fiduciary duties, once you pass the test, you're like, I don't need that again. All right, Kelly, team one. Buzzed in first.
What is accountability?
Good job, close enough. That is correct.
Close
All right.
enough. That was perfect.
I know, that was perfect. I couldn't remember if I put down accounting or accountability, so it was.
You had me worried.
I know, you did good. All right, so yeah, accountability, we have, one of our fiduciary duties, we have to account for any of the monies and things that are given, so, all right. Next, we're picking up the pace here.
Let's go contracts for 600, Pat.
Wait, no, what was the guy? He just died.
Alex,
Oh yeah, Alex Trebek.
Oh, sorry, Alex. Yeah.
Yeah, take off. Marissa said you lose 3,000 points, Kelly.
Right.
Yeah, Alex Trebek just died, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sad day. He's gone. So, all right, we ready? Here we go for the 600. Answer is not illiterate, minor, insane, alien, or deceased. I hit my buzzer. Okay,
Do it.
Sam's answering.
Do it.
Help him out.
So, is that where like they have to be, they have to, it's not legal.
Nobody's buzzed
But
in
it
yet.
is kind of
Somebody's
legal.
got to buzz in.
Just buzz in and have some. Yes, David.
Somebody's got to buzz.
Oh, buzz. His buzzer's not working.
All right, Heidi and Kyle both buzzed.
Perfect.
All right, what are you going with? All right, is that correct, Sam? Attorney?
Nice word.
Wait, say it again.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I'm not a lawyer, so I didn't get that. I just put legally competent parties.
Great job.
So good job.
Yay.
All right, good job. All right, that was 600, right?
Bring up a chair.
They want you to come in for the last little bit, Sam. Ooh, I don't know. That the final Jeopardy one's tough. All right, so legally competent parties. So let me tell you a quick story on this. I've got my neighbor's house. I've got my neighbor's house under contract, and I think I've kind of talked a little bit about it. We signed 2 days ago. The buyer's signing today, but we were supposed to sign a week ago Monday. So it was supposed to have closed last Monday. But the buyer, long story, we had to extend because the lender was a loser and didn't do her job, and actually just said, well, I've just been overwhelmed and exhausted. And I'm like, I don't really care. But we were supposed to close last Monday, but we didn't get actually the disclosure sent out to the buyer until Monday this week, which is why they're now signing today. On Tuesday, I met with the title company to go sign. So we went to, she lives in a senior retirement place. We went to the senior retirement place. We get there, we knock on the door, they come out and they said, because of COVID, we're only gonna let one person go in. And I was like, all right, well, let the title guy go in and I won't go in. Well, then her son showed up and the lady working at the place said, let me talk to her son. And I think I told you guys this, that they walked away, but they were not very far away from me. And I heard her say, she fell, she's in a lot of pain, she doesn't know why you guys are even here. Well, my title guy, the escrow officer, is standing there next to me and hears that she doesn't know why you're here. She doesn't know what's going on today. And he turns to me and is like, she has to be competent in order to do this. And I was like, no, she is. Because everything I've dealt with her, she has been. So I don't know what the deal was, but I was like, oh man. So I've blocked her, not taking any calls in case that she dies or something. I'm just kidding. Till it records, then I'll call. No, but so okay, they have to be legally competent parties. The other story I told you guys during the 12-hour new agent stuff is about the guy that we had gotten an offer in. We checked title, and on the tax records it showed only his name, but when we got the preliminary title report, it showed his mom on there. And then his mom said he's not legally competent, which is why she was on title as well. So if you go on to an appointment with somebody and you get kind of the feeling of like, I'm not sure they're all there, it probably would be good to get a family member involved or something to make sure that you know what you're dealing with. All right, good job. Sam helped you. You guys are within 1,000 points. Just so you know, team one. Philip's like, that's fine. I'll just throw out the answer when.
So all of us are within 1,000. Gave us the points for it yet.
Yeah, did you add those points on yet?
I think I did. How many points was it? It was
We
600. You were at 2,000. I gave you.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Thanks. Let's take a vote. All right. Vote. So you guys that are on teams 1 and 2, vote in. Did I give them the points? No
Sure.
answer.
Sure.
No answer.
Give him the
no.
points.
What?
Sure.
Give
It's
it
not
to
real
him.
money. Go ahead.
They're saying.
There's
Okay. Well,
You guys are too nice.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I did. I know I did. I'm not giving you more. All right. Where are we going next?
Let's
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm testing you guys.
practice here.
See how honest you are at your business. All right, where are we going next?
Okay, are we gonna go for it or are we gonna play it easy?
Oh,
Okay, are we going for it?
contracts 400.
All right, contracts for 400. Here we go. Answer is legitimate use. Now remember, these are the elements of a contract. Oh, did I not reset? Sorry. All right, go ahead. All right, Philip buzzed in.
What is legal purpose?
Good job. See, I told you he was just holding back on you guys. He's just gonna let you think you're catching
Oh, and
up.
then he's gonna go get all the thousands.
Yeah, he's gonna run the
points.
table.
Bam.
He's gonna run the table on you. All right, good job. Yes, legal purpose.
Strategy.
So it has to be for a legal purpose. So we can't go out, we couldn't go out. Ultimately, what this is saying is I couldn't go out and make a drug deal with somebody to sell me some heroin or something. And then they go bad on the deal and I take it to court to try to get my money or whatever, or my drugs.
And that's been done. That's been tried.
Yeah. So it has to be for a legal purpose or else it won't work. So that's why they have their own court of law. All right, team one.
Philip. I gotta beat this Philip.
They want to meet you, Philip.
You want to meet me? Why?
I don't know, because you're so smart.
So they can poke me in the eye?
All right, what are we going with, team one?
Let's do agency 800.
All right,
Oh.
agency continued for 800. Here we go. Answer is, works to assist in negotiating a mutually acceptable transaction for both the buyer and the seller. Courtney.
Limited or dual agency. Woohoo! Nice work, girl.
Limited agency, good job.
That's great.
All right, you're only 600 points away now. All right, good job. Yeah, limited agency. So let me just actually on that one, let me just say, there are two times you can end up being a limited agent. One is if you're representing both the buyer and the seller. Two is if the listing agent is with Century 21 Everest and the buyer's agent is with Century 21 Everest. In that scenario, you're still representing them, but the brokerage then would be limited. Okay, then you'd still need to use the limited agency consent form. All right, good job. All right.
I got a question on that.
Yes.
Can you act as a limited agent if one of the parties is family?
Yes.
Yes.
You just have to disclose
Right.
that. And in fact, actually, the interesting thing on that is that notice of interest that you have to disclose that you're related is really technically should only need to be used if you are in a limited agency situation. If you're not, you really don't need it, even though most of the time people still always do it, which I think is a good idea, but you don't need it. So the only time you could not do it is if you are the principal in the transaction, then you could not be a limited agent.
Cool.
And I have done that before. On accident. I didn't realize, but it was before I learned this law. I went out and bought a property that I was rehabbing to sell. And in the process of fixing it up, this lady just knocks on the door and I open the door and she's like, I want to buy this house. And I was like, okay. I'm like, all right, well, we're still in the process of fixing it up. I know, I want to buy it. And I'm like, well, but do you want to come in and see it? No, I want to buy it. And I'm like, well, I understand you want to buy it, but don't you want to come see it? No, my sister lives across the street. I am buying this house. And I was like, okay. So I went, wrote up all the contracts. I closed on the transaction, everything. So I did a limited agency. But the problem was I was the owner of the property and the listing agent and that did that. And then I learned this law and I was like, ooh, hope the statute of fraud, or not the statute of limitations is up, so I'm sure it's gotta be by now, so. So hopefully I won't go to jail, but I did violate that. All right,
So you condemned that or what?
You confessed, now you.
yeah, you can't.
Yeah, but you know what, they would
you
have taken
can't-
into consideration that you were new and that you did not do
No,
it
no.
out of purpose.
I hope so, but yeah, if you are the owner of the property and you list the property, you could not represent the buyer purchasing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Maybe not,
Yeah, I don't think they would.
no,
No, because they're gonna,
because they would have said, well, you took the test.
That's
you did
right.
This stuff.
that's
You're
right,
obligated that you should have had that knowledge.
that's right.
And if you're the buyer and are representing the seller, you can't do it on that.
If you're the, yeah, correct. That's right. Yeah, if you, which, actually, now as you say that, I've done that too.
Confession day.
Yeah, this is confession day.
I'm recording.
I'm recording too. Yeah, so I used to do a lot of bank-owned properties that I would help banks sell. And this was a property on McClellan Street in downtown and on like 9th and 9th area kind of. And we had a buyer that came for this property, and then they came back and said there was a fire and we're not going to buy the house. So I went down into the crawl space and you could see one of the beams had been burned. And so I went back to the bank and I was like, apparently there's a fire. And so, no pun intended, but they did a fire sale on this property, meaning they just way reduced the price. Well, in the process of that, I called a friend of mine that was a contractor and I said, is this a problem? And he said, let me go look at it. We went and looked at it and he's like, structurally, the beam is still fine. So it looked like basically what had happened is it had caught on fire, but the person was probably right there. I mean, it may have even just been a kid doing it. And as soon as the beam caught on fire, they like blew it out kind of a thing. It wasn't, so structurally it was still sound. And when the bank said what they were going to list it for, I was like, well, I'll buy it. And so they let me. And so yeah, I violated that one too. All right.
Do you want to do agency?
How do you do that these days? Like,
How do you do what?
how do you find banks that are
Oh, good question.
selling homes?
So now's the time to try to kind of do that, because the challenge is once the market has a bunch of REOs and stuff in it, it's hard to become an agent for them because they've usually already got somebody that's doing it. So how I did it, you're not going to like my answer, but how I got involved with it is I was at the office at 7:30 in the morning one day, the phone rang and I answered it. And the lady was like, I've got 2 properties. I'm in Florida and I've got 2 properties I need to sell. Can you help me? And I said, yeah. And then I ended up doing a ton of them. But the other way is that typically you would do it is, and this is not going on today, at least not much, is they have agents do what's called BPOs, a broker price opinion, where the bank will have an agent give them think of it like a CMA, but they call it a broker price opinion. And typically what'll happen is they then will try to get a relationship with somebody and then do it. So that would be the ways. Ultimately, if you were wanting to get involved with it, now is the time to go to banks and just find out who would I talk to get involved. And because the thing is, once they start to show up again, they'll identify agents pretty quickly, and then that's who it is. So, but for me, I'm personally, and this is just personal opinion, I'm not sure I want to be involved with them anymore. Well, although maybe it would be different again. But when I first started doing it, it was great. And like the one bank that I had would pay an 8% commission. We'd offer 4 to whoever brought in the buyer. I would fill out a piece of paper of what for the broker price opinion. Today's world, there's so much paperwork involved, and a lot of times they'll go in and have you rehab the property, and you as the agent have to have the cash to go in and basically do the rehab, and then they reimburse you kind of a thing. And so I don't know if I'm as interested as what I was. All right, next. Who got that one? You guys did, right? All right, where are we going next?
Do you want to do 400? Go for it. Yeah, call it. Okay, that's fine.
What are we doing?
Let's do 400.
400. All right, agency continued for 400. Here we go. Oh, let me make sure I clear the buzzers. They're cleared. All right, here we go. Answer is, a real estate broker is deemed to have skill and expertise in real estate matters superior to that of the average person. So if you just think about the fiduciary duties, it's the only one we haven't done yet. All right, Rebecca, team 2, yes.
Is it reasonable care and
Good
diligence?
job. That one was the daily 10 times double.
Really?
Yeah, so that one was worth 4,000 points. So they're at 3,800 now.
Are you kidding me?
I just got to try to get it closer here so that there's. So you guys are.
So yeah, they have to
Being
bump
honest.
up and beat us by 4,000.
Yeah, you're up by 4. Yeah, good job, team 2. You got 4,000 points on that. So.
No, you just want us to lose.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to make it a little more competitive here.
Russ just doesn't
Pretend like
follow.
you're an ass.
Yeah, I know. That's what Kyle's learned from this class. Be careful what Russ tells you. All right. Good job. Oh, actually, the whole point of this is to teach you guys stuff, not just that, right? So reasonable care and diligence. Here's how I would say to look at that fiduciary duty. Let's say for most of you guys, this will apply. There might be some that doesn't. If somebody called you up today and said, hey, I want to buy a commercial building and we've got like $20 million to spend on this, should you do it?
No,
Why?
because you don't have the expertise to do commercial.
Okay, good. Yeah, so ultimately it's because you don't have really the experience and stuff with it. Now, sometimes an agent will argue though, well, I don't have the experience even for a residential transaction. Like, so what should I not do it? Which, here's the key thing. Sometimes what will happen is you get this chance at a property like that, and rather than what you should do is say, let's go find you, we'll connect you with a commercial agent who's done it, that can help you through it. And yes, you're gonna probably split it, but it'll be worth it for you because you'll get the experience and get to learn. So the other place that scenario comes into play is, Kyle was talking about living in St. George. Well, if you're not familiar with the St. George market and you get a buyer that wants to go buy a property down there, a lot of times agents will say, well, all right, well, I'm gonna go do it because I wanna get paid the commission. Well, the challenge is, and I was teaching this class down in St. George and we got to this part and somebody said, yeah, those agents from Salt Lake are always coming down here and wanting to represent and blah, blah, blah. And they said, the problem is they don't know anything about blue clay. Well, I'd never even heard of blue clay before. So I was like, okay, like you guys, and I still am not sure I even know, like,
I've never heard of it.
what's blue clay?
It's a clay that when it gets wet, it expands. It's got like I don't know what's in it, but it just has like a bluish color to it. But a lot of the just mineral composition down there, it's pretty abundant in some areas.
Yeah, see, and
so it totally wrecks people's foundations.
But see, if you're an agent from Salt Lake, I'll say me.
So I can go down.
I wouldn't know where those areas are and if the buyer should be concerned about. That's the idea of this reasonable care and diligence. You're not giving that to your client. So just think of it, anything out of your expertise or your market area, you probably should refer out even though the problem is we're like, well, I want the commission on it. So anyway, all right. Next, team 2. You got your daily 10 times double. Courtney's mad at me now. I told you what
Look how nice she was when she was mad at you.
I know. You remember what we're playing for, right? You remember what the winner gets?
Bragging rights.
Good job. That's all it was.
And Starbucks, what else did we hear?
All right. Starbucks. All right, team 2.
Okay, let's do federal laws for 800.
All right, here we go. Federal laws for 800. Answer is unlawful to discriminate based on any of the following: race, color, religion, sex, national origin.
That first act that they developed.
All right, Kyle
in
got it first.
1800s.
Civil Rights Act of 1866.
Of what?
No, I think that 1866 was the first
That's
one.
what I thought.
But then they
added.
I don't care about the year.
Woo!
You didn't need the year.
Nice work. Nice job.
Oh, team 3 just took the lead.
Ah.
See, you guys should have quit complaining.
So the lead means a lot because we were down 1,000 at one point.
I know. All right, Civil Rights
1,000
Act.
plus.
Good. All right, next. You guys get to choose.
Agency.
See how competitive this is now? All right, agency for 1,000.
Now it's really competitive.
Here we go.
Not really because it's fake.
Whoa.
I want to know how much.
All right, but everybody ready? Let me clear the buzzers. All right, here we go. Answer is, these become limited in limited agency. Philip got it first.
What?
Then
Ooh,
Courtney.
Philip.
Come on, Philip. Get it wrong.
Okay,
Loyalty and confidentiality.
Which is part of our
It's the-
duties. The fiduciary duties become limited.
You know that's right.
Let's push the buzzer.
I'm still waiting for Philip to finish. So what did you say?
Don't
I said loyalty and confidentiality.
Final answer?
Yes.
Okay, so I gotta figure out what to do if he's only 2/3 right.
Give him 2/3 of the coins.
No, he's wrong.
Well, you didn't
Oh,
say that
and
there was
disclosure.
three.
He would have been wrong.
And disclosure. I remember
All or none.
I just lost control of the whole class.
And disclosure.
That's, hey,
What would Alex do?
2/3
Yeah,
right is
he would've-
100% wrong.
Yeah.
the team here, Phillips, arguing that 2/3 right is 100% wrong.
Well, I'd said the third one while they were yelling. So,
Okay, so what did you say?
so it's loyalty, confidentiality, and disclosure.
Oh, no, he's added one.
Oh, because he heard us talking.
He's still wrong.
I don't know. Like, I'm gonna get lynched no matter what I do. All right, we'll do that.
I want to see him go down.
It's hiding. It's all hiding.
So here's the thing. I guess, hold on. Let me talk through this. I did say final answer after he'd only given me 2,
Yeah.
That's true.
but it's 2/3 right. Ugh.
That means I get 2/3 the points, right?
Just give us enough to win.
What's that, Kyle or Kelly? I mean,
Just give us enough points to win.
just give you enough to win. Okay, I'll give you 2/3. Whoops, I give you more than 2/3. All right.
Okay, wait.
No, you guys
You're
never
gonna give
answered.
him 2/3, then you have to minus him the other. We had to
Oh,
get minus
that's
the
true.
whole
We should
basket.
minus the
Yes,
other
yes.
third.
Yeah,
So
No.
they really only got 1/3.
No,
then he has to have a minus.
no, nice
Yes.
try. Nice
I
try.
am sorry, but.
Okay,
I'm
Can't
negotiating.
minus something you didn't get.
if
Oh my
I'm,
God.
hey,
Now I'm glad I'm not there. They're getting kind of
Here, let me,
crazy
here's
over
where,
there.
let me tell you what my thinking is. These guys are in the room and can beat me up. You guys are not, so.
Did you just tell Sam to come in here? Are you worried?
Yeah, can you come protect me? I might die here. Well, hey, in fact, let's get the attorney. We'll have, you get to,
Okay,
nope,
yeah.
small claims.
Oh, yeah, we need.
We're in small claims
He's
court
giving them 2/3.
where
Lost.
the attorney gets to play the judge.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I'm chewing gum and gum with a mask and like my eyes are watering.
So the question is, these become limited during limited agency, and they gave me 2 out of the 3 answers correct. I said final answer, they said yes. So they got 2 out of the 3 right,
And then we gave the full one.
and they gave, well, they say they gave the full one, I didn't hear it, but.
So if you gave the full one, what are the 3?
Okay, yeah, let's see, what are the 3, guys?
Oh, you just can't remember. That was 30.
Well,
Confidential.
no, what the question is.
If I can answer him, do I get the
Philip
points?
a full 1,000 points, or 800, or does he get a,
I gave him
Third of
2/3
it.
of the points.
but then he has
Oh
to
my
get a third off because.
So Sam's saying, okay, so he's with,
I'm ruling against the host for being a bad Quebec.
So-
About partial
No point. Yeah, exactly.
all right, okay,
Alex, yes.
all right. You just lost your 2/3 points there, Phil.
I heard. I'll just have to get the other
Number 2.
Who was number
Who was the
2?
next person to
Nobody
answer?
gets the points on
Courtney
that
will.
one.
Oh,
We all.
okay,
were.
but he has to lose 1,000. Okay, I'm sorry.
Technically, that's true.
Yes.
two. They're getting ruthless over there.
That is
You
true.
lawyer.
All right. Wow, you just went from 4,600 to
Do you
3,000.
know how painful that was for me to experience? I'm afraid to even answer now.
Okay. All right, where are we going? The next, should we go to the next 1,000 points?
No, I am, aren't I?
All right, here we go.
No.
Answer is meeting of the minds. Remember what we're talking about?
Is it Philip again?
It is Philip that just buzzed in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, go ahead. Answer it.
Offer and acceptance.
On my way over here.
Really?
Final answer?
Yes.
What did he say?
So, okay, I'm glad Sam's here. In the elements of a contract, meeting of the minds is, what did you say, Philip?
Offer and acceptance.
Offer and acceptance. Is that, is that one of
No.
the, that would be a meeting of the minds? I hope you say no, because that's not what I
answer
heard.
is no.
Yeah, that, the answer is no.
Yes.
All right.
Next.
So Kyle was the next one that got it.
Way to go, Philip.
Boy, everybody's getting up against Coach Philip.
Hey, Philip,
I trust you more.
Sam just is feeling sorry for you because everybody just ganged up on you.
Oh, it's fine.
That's just because you're so good.
He
And I
was.
bow.
She said that with love in her eyes.
Yeah, she said it
She
with
did,
love.
it was really
I'm
sweet.
proud on her.
Okay, so what's the answer?
Mutual, what was it, us?
Yeah.
Mutual assent or consensus?
That's close enough.
Nice word. What's that?
Oh, it was offer and acceptance.
Booyah!
I screwed up. He's back to 4,000.
Oh, we should get double for that.
Yeah, we should get double because
Oh, he was, and then meeting of the minds.
I don't know what I was thinking it was.
Acceptance.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Good enough.
I feel betrayed.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Here's the good news. At the end of the day, it's gonna all come down to whoever gets.
Answer is blue, you guess the question.
That's right. That's kind of what it was. Wasn't that how Jeopardy
That
was?
was fun. I was like, oh. I thought you were going for the elements of contract, so,
That was supposed to be that.
which would be offer acceptance and consideration.
Well, we already did consideration.
Yeah.
That was, so it's not every one of them, but it's we had different questions for each
So the
element.
question to blue is the team I hate now. Okay.
Go you.
You'd never guess that.
No, I would have. Okay. All right, we ready for this last one? This is gonna be it. This decides it. You guys are all right there.
Fill up.
Wait, let me make sure I've cleared out the buzzers.
Is there not a final Jeopardy? Just go for it.
There is a final Jeopardy, but nobody will ever get it. All right, here we go. Last one. Paying an unlicensed person a referral. So this is not a true or false. There is a term for that. There's a term for what?
First degree murder.
Paying an unlicensed person for a referral.
Did anybody buzz?
Philip buzzed it in. Oops, sorry, I cleared it, but
He
Philip did
buzzed.
buzz first.
He did the only person I'm
it's finder's fee, isn't it?
That is correct. So now let's talk about it, even though we kind of already
Did
did.
you hear Philip, this?
I want to be on.
He came through, he was in the class 3 months ago when we did.
So he's basically cheating.
So, did you hear that, Philip? Courtney said you're
He
basically
must have
cheating.
wrote down all the answers.
Like how
And he
I
has
did
his
that
own
in
little.
I missed
I
that
guess so.
one.
All right,
You're supposed to do that.
so let's talk about it. So the finder's fee, you can pay an unlicensed person for a referral on one condition. What is the condition?
less than $250.
That's,
It's unsolicited.
okay, good job, Kelly. That's right. It has to be for an unsolicited referral. So define an unsolicited referral for me.
You're not advertising for it at the movie theater.
Okay, good. Yeah, so you can't tell somebody. Now, so here's the thing. When I very
There's a
first,
dollar limit, though.
there is a dollar limit.
Is it 5?
I think it just changed to 5, did it?
250.
I'm sorry, I've been reading.
It
I
is
just checked-
250.
I just
It
checked
changed
earlier
to-
this week.
Sorry, but here's the problem that I have is when I'm in California and I've taught this same type of thing in California, theirs is 500. So that's why I was it's 250. Thanks, Kelly. Okay, so but here, let me tell you a real quick story. When I first got my license, the agent for the company that I was with became the rookie of the year for the Salt Lake board. And I was asking her one day, like, what are you doing? How did you get your business? Because she did this huge amount of business her first year in the business. And she just kind of told me this stuff that she was doing. Well, one day I go to show a house, about 6 months after that, I go to show a house that she has shown. Her business card is sitting there on the table. And while the agent or the buyer is just kind of walking through, I'm just kind of looking at the cards, and I pick up her card and I'm looking at it and I turn it over, and on the back, she had stamped on the back of it, because back then it was, you could pay $50. She said, I will pay you $50 for every referral that you give me. And I was like, well, no wonder she's, but so now, can you do that? Could you put that on your back of your cards? I'll pay you $250 for every referral you give me?
No.
That's right. That would be soliciting. So just know you can't do that. So you can't call up all of your people in your SOI, hey, for every referral you give me, I'll pay you $250. That would now make it a solicited referral. So you can't do it. You can, if it was unsolicited and they call you, then you can do that. So let me give you guys how I would recommend that you do this. You get a phone call from somebody in your SOI that says to you, hey, I got somebody who's thinking about buying or selling a house. Just getting that phone call, I would recommend you get a thank you card and write, thanks for referring that person to me. And then there's a Cold Stone over here, either get a Starbucks gift card or like a Cold Stone, get some type of a $15, $20, $25 gift card and just mail it to them. Thanks for thinking of me and referring this person. Okay. Now, then after that, let's say you now meet with the person. They sign either a listing agreement or a buyer broker to work with you. Then I would say, now get another thank you card, right? Kyle, thanks for referring this person to me. And then go buy a Chili's, since I can see that out the window, Chili's gift card for $50 or something. Thanks for referring that person to me. They signed a contract with me. I really appreciate it. Mail it to them. Now I close on the property. Now I'm going to go buy a Ruth's Chris or a Cheesecake Factory, something like that for $150 or something. But so just think of it as like, it's got to be less than $250.
Adding up to $250, but not like, oh, here's
yeah.
$250.
Now, why would I recommend you do it that way?
Well, first of all, you're not putting so much out of your own pocket for something that maybe doesn't come, to fruition for yourself. And
okay.
Then
good.
And then also it maybe will encourage them to start sending more people to you.
Perfect.
You keep in their mind over time instead of just one hit.
That's right. Rather than just one time of me doing. Number one, I'm letting them know, just thanks for even thinking of me is one thing. And then as it kind of just progresses along, obviously they're going to like that. So did you want to say something, Sam?
Sorry, you picked on me too much.
I didn't see it. Thanks for coming. So anyway, that's what I found. Now, the key thing though is if for some reason you forgot to do, then later on that person refers somebody to you and you don't send them the Chili's gift card and they call you and go, hey, David, so last time, like when I referred this person, you sent me a gift certificate to Chili's when they listed their house with you. Like, you're not doing that anymore? Like in essence, now that's kind of become this solicit. So don't forget and be ahead of the curve on doing that so that it doesn't become an issue. But I would recommend kind of doing that, breaking it up and doing a little bit each kind of the time, because especially just the fact that they referred somebody to you and you send them a Starbucks or a Cold Stone or something like that, they're gonna be like, wow, just for calling and giving them a name, we're gonna go get ice cream.
Well, that's what I think. So even for just the small stuff, it'll be like, oh, they run into somebody here or there or whatever, and they don't know if that's gonna be a real big deal for us. But they're throwing our names out there and advertising for us.
Yep, that's right.
So So that's worth the $10 Starbucks.
Perfect. All right.
Someone refers people to you like 10, 20 times. You send them something every single time.
I would. Yeah, absolutely. To me, like I said, it's worth it to just, hey, thanks for thinking of me and doing a thank you card. All right.
What if you told them you were going to give them $250 for every referral and they're just referring somebody to you just to get that $250?
That's why that step up is.
That's why I think of it as doing kind of the step up things. Because then, if they call me and just I give them a $15 gift card to.
And people aren't really even interested.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, and then when I close it and get $10,000, I'll gladly give you that. All right. Well, thanks for being here, guys. Hopefully you had some fun with it. Was it?
That was a blast.
Fun.
I'm so glad
It was
fun.
good.
A lot of fun.
Well, and that's the whole idea of why the division has this 12-hour new agent. Is the idea of it is they know that you're ultimately just cramming to pass the test, and then the agents would get out and forget everything that they really learned. So they're like, okay, you got to go through this second time. So anyway, okay. Well, thanks for being here. So next week on Tuesday we'll do a Zap class where I'm just going to do kind of the basics of Zap. Again, welcome to be in person or online. And then next Thursday's class is the Cowboys playing whoever. No, yeah, next Thursday Thanksgiving, no class. So. And
So then
Who
we're,
are they playing?
I don't know. They're gonna lose, so it doesn't matter. But
so then when
even though
we
that's
get
my
our
team,
last-
but they
They
suck.
are?
Yes.
Is this completed?
So yeah. If you have hit all 6 of the classes, this is the final of this 12-hour
Oh,
language.
okay. So the Zap class is not part of it.
No.
Okay, I cannot get my contacts to watch me do that.
I
Oh,
have
okay.
something too, so
Well, I'll
I
help
just
you.
have to talk for a second.
Yeah, I'll help you.
Because then that'll be nice, because then I can have that downloaded.
Yeah,
for the Zap
sure.
class.
Absolutely. All right, let me see. I saw somebody throw out something in the chat. Let me see what I missed.
Don't, because you'll know.
Yeah, for you guys online, just make sure you have put in your first name and last name and stuff.
And I don't know how to
So,
do that. I can't get. I
Okay,
can't
thanks for being
do
here,
that on my
guys.
computer, but on my computer,
see you next time. Everyone.
Well, they're all in my app. They're all in my